2. Happy Manic Monday, Javal. That was not what we expected at all. If you told us on Saturday night that we would force 3 turnovers, we forced a lot of penalties, and Jawan Taylor had like 4 false starts or whatever the hell it was he was flagged for as many times yesterday, and say 17 points, you thought we'd have won, right? Oh my goodness. See, Javal's
I don't even
speechless.
know. My brain is still a little bit fried from the heat yesterday, which if you weren't at the game, if
I
you
think
weren't
I can
there in
see it on my
person,
face. My face is still sunburned. I didn't wear a hat thinking it was gonna rain. Joke's on me. Yeah, I think it's right there.
I never wish it rained in Florida more in my entire life than it yesterday's game. But if you weren't there in person,
God
then
bless you. It must have just been torture at TV. Just imagine how it would was feeling just being there.
if you watched the game on TV and were miserable, imagine that, but just sitting in feels like 100-degree weather, just amplified. So yeah, that was great.
It was fun. I don't know about you, but my process into getting to the stadium too yesterday, we left, me and my friend Nick, we left at like 9 o'clock, thinking that we were gonna get there at a good time. But no, it just took forever to get inside the pot. The parking for the slab was full because they went digital this year. Why would they do that? I mean, I guess for convenience sake. Was it because of the lock situation to end last season because somebody wanted to break in and get in early? I mean,
I'm
ridiculous.
not sure. Thankfully, I was able to get parking like
Not too
close
far
enough
from.
to slab. It was like $30. So,
Not
but
bad.
I didn't know it was fully digital because I had the money taken out. But
Yeah. I mean,
honest,
they were selling stuff digital now, but they ran out of cash, is what they told us. We had to have like a virtual ticket to see that we bought parking, but we just parked right, yeah, close enough to like same price. It is what it is.
I think the highlight of yesterday was just the tailgating. Like everything that happened before the game was like the highlight, and then
For
the game
sure.
started.
Seeing everyone again in a game that matters, like, yeah, can't beat that atmosphere. Eric Dunn just being a goddamn menace to society. Shout out to him getting
Shout
me
out
this
to Eric.
hat. Look at him. Look at this hat. It's beautiful.
Yeah, John stole my swag today, so
I know. I have to put the bucket hat over the whole thing.
I'm too depressed to wear the bucket hat today. So
That's okay. I know you kind of want to get over it. So, what are your final thoughts about the game before I talk about what I asked Twitter yesterday, or X, whatever the hell you want to call it?
well, I guess real quick, like, getting into the game itself, like, I literally left from Orlando at like close to 8:30 just to drive, thinking, okay, we'll like get to the slab or like get to tailgating lots before like I got on Isaiah Hart Bridge. That traffic was so bad, but I mean, at least the tailgating itself was fun. When it comes to the game, defense played great. I mean,
Oh yeah, let's do positives first. I like that. Yeah. Defense, absolutely.
okay, let's save the positives for last. Let's just get all the negativity out
Mm-hmm.
the way. So that way we can at least end
Rip
on
the
a
band-aid
happy
off.
note.
Rip
Yeah,
the band-aid
just
off.
I know a lot of people are going to rightfully shit on Price. Honestly, I don't to me it feels it's like 60% play calling, 40% execution.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I think Trevor implied that the when he was at the 1 yard line, like him taking it himself, I think he implied that that was like audible by Trevor, just kind of, run for it on like take it himself. And it worked versus the Titans last year. So it's not even like we've never seen that play call work before.
Mm-hmm.
But in the moment, it's like, why do we call that play call? So I don't want to say it was like amalgamation of nothing went right. I think the worst part, that fumble by Agnew, just that still didn't make sense to me. Like it was a backwards throw and then it bounced off. Agnew touches have not been great so far. Like I understand you want to get him touches, but it just feels so telegraphed every time he's on the field, where you're taking one of your best receivers off for a guy who's good with the ball in his hands. But if the defense knows the ball, like unless you use, like, I feel like you'd have to use Agnew as a decoy as much as use him with the ball in his hands. Otherwise, it's going to be too obvious. Because if you know the ball's headed his way, then you're not going to be fooled. If it's a decoy to get somebody else open, that makes sense. But if you're just bringing in Agnew and then he doesn't work and take him back out, it just feels like you're just banging your head against the wall. I mean, the O line, it didn't look great versus the Chiefs. It didn't look great versus the Colts either, which granted, the Colts have a good interior duo. The Chiefs have Chris Jones. So I don't want to say like, I don't want to give them too many excuses because it's good players, but at the same time, you need to be able to handle better fronts. The only person who didn't allow pressure yesterday was Walker Little. So our best offensive lineman is probably going to be playing guard, which I mean, like I said, I think he can be fine at guard. It was up to me. I probably would put Cam at guard. I think his skill set fits better, but just lack of execution. I don't want to say Trevor was like outside, like he had a great game regardless because he could have been better. The 4th and 5 to Kirk, like during near midfield or halftime. No, it wasn't to Kirk, but people were saying he should have thrown the ball to Kirk before earlier, just get the ball out. So
Pressure got to it though. I would not excuse. I mean, I would give Trevor a bit of an
you,
excuse there,
you
but
have
still,
to
you want
throw
to.
it,
Yeah.
but at the same time, like pressure was there, which
hmm
you know,
We're not being ran down by 300 linemen the entire game, so we're not in this spot. But yeah, maybe a little bit
I'm
more
not gonna
composure next day.
I'm not
Yeah,
gonna judge Trevor too much. Like
on
he's
one play. Yeah.
it just it's just one of those games where this just felt so much the Texans game last year, except instead of just turn like with the turnover in the red zone, just bad red zone. Like I don't even want to say it was bad red zone play calling because the fact that there's like what 4 touchdowns that were just an inch away from happening, if the players even go 2 for 4 on that and you get 2 touchdowns and not field goals, it's a totally different game. I
hmm
don't know if I don't want to blame that on Trevor or the receivers like just 1-to-1, but just the passing game as a whole. And even going back to last year, the red zone, we just struggled in the red zone a lot because we really weren't the best short yardage running team, which is always, been another red flag with the offense. And then so just red zone when everything's condensed, that's an area you can say that they definitely need to work on and improve because really the play calling itself throughout the game was
I didn't.
fine.
Yeah, I was rewatching it just before we started this call. A lot of it was fine, and especially since we got a couple bad beats, some pass interferences that were missed. Maybe Trevor could have just put the ball in a better spot on a couple of those like quick passes to Rid or Kirk or whoever. The missed touchdown is Zay Jones. He was wide open, but Trevor Ailes airmails it. Like the one of the last few red zone opportunities we got in the second half. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I think people are going to blame press, and I understand why. To me, I might before I even blame Press, I'm going to blame Doug because I don't think Press is calling plays without Doug's input, without his influence. I don't think Press would call a play that he thinks wouldn't work unless he knows Doug thinks it would work as well. So maybe they have a different spin on things, to get more, just get more eyes. But I'm not going to sit here and say that it's all on Press. Some of it probably is. Some of it's also probably on Doug. Some of it's on the players. So the offense just as a whole, O line is the only thing I'm really worried about long term is the O line because the play calling, I think Doug's just too smart and he's proven to be a good coach. I mean, even last year, you know, the play calling, like we had some games down the stretch where the play calling, was not great. And then we were able to fix that and still get the offense humming. So really, I'm not trying to overreact too much to the game. The only thing that worries me is the O line as a whole. I mean, Barch. I wasn't the biggest Barch fan when he was playing last year. I thought he was just okay. And so far to look back, I mean, he really hasn't had two. He's had 2 kind of poor games in a row. So he had the injury, so I don't want to be too harsh on him. But also, just when is the injury, not going to be an excuse? Because he didn't have training camp like fully,
Mhm.
so I get that. But also, at some point, if you're getting starters reps and you're getting weekend practices, when is that going to translate to being in the field? Fortnite is. I just don't know if the strength is going to ever, fully come to fruition because people are, just the short yardage thing has always been an issue with Fortnite because he's just not a naturally strong center. You know, I'm just curious if maybe Shatley gets some reps at center, but also Scherf's been banged up. So if if Scherf's playing injured, I'd just rather have him try to heal the injury and sit because he didn't look great last game either. So and then Anton, I will actually give a pass. Obviously, he didn't play great, but it was funny because everybody on the right, everybody except for Walker Little, three pressures like on the offensive line. But Anton, at least he's a rookie going against Chris Jones with a shoulder injury, and the fact that the Chiefs put Chris Jones on the edge just to target him, I think if you see that as a play caller, try to get like a chip, try to help Anton.
Hmm.
Don't just. I don't think
Yeah.
they want to put him on an island for the whole game, obviously, but if you see the team is trying to exploit what they think is a mismatch on the offensive line, it's up to you as a staff to try to help mitigate that. Which to be fair, I remember Tony Baselli was on the pod, like him and Prisco have a pod, probably one of my favorite like in Jag shows, and Tony talks about how the scheme is very offensive line friendly to play for because they don't do a lot of true drop backs. So I know the coaching staff, doesn't try to put players in bad situations. I just think, Anton could have got a little bit more help because Chris Jones didn't even play like 30 pass rush snaps and he had six pressures. And he's a great player, so I'm not surprised. But
Hmm.
at the same time, you went against him last year and he allowed six pressures. You went against him this year and he allowed six pressures. You have to, start showing some improvement. And they're still young guys, so obviously there's some room for growth there. But the offensive line, I'm just, even when Cam comes back, which we'll see who goes where. My guess is they probably still put Cam at left tackle and Walker at guard, which doesn't make sense to me, but hey, whatever. Even if that happens, is Scherf going to be healthy? Is Fortnite going to be able to? I keep saying Fortnite, like just
Fortnite.
unironically.
Fortner. Hmm.
Are going to be able to hold up just strength wise, and then will Anton? I think Anton will be good. Obviously, he has a shoulder injury too, so I don't want to say he's a bust. He's a rookie tackle. His second game in the NFL was versus Chris Jones, and he probably hasn't played in a stadium that hot. He probably hasn't been used to that heat in a while. So
Hmm.
play calling wise, I think the play calling will get better just by virtue of chemistry and reps. O line, I want to say we'll get more reps, but also I'm not sold on the O line getting better. So I don't want to say like it's full panic, like the offense is not what we thought it was because we still put up
It's week
31 points.
2. It's like that's the thing though. I just want to get to everyone. It's
Week two,
only
people.
week 2.
I mean,
15 more weeks to get it right. Like,
we're
relax.
we're still 1-1. We won the division. Obviously, we had the chance to go up 2-0 and we didn't, so it stings. But this isn't a team that's. I mean, it was a close game. Like the fact that we were in a close game versus the Chiefs, it's. I don't want to say it's like baby steps and like the moral victories, but it shows the team itself is there. It's just better
Yeah,
offensive execution and play calling.
yeah, it's funny because I did tweet after the game about what people thought about it. Like most of those tweets are Press Taylor. Gary says Press Taylor has to have incriminating pics of Doug's to still be calling plays after this week. Press Taylor is a war criminal. We
Before
have some general thoughts like, yeah, some people really push the panic button, like Rich Ito saying that the last 15 years have conditioned me to be concerned that Trevor is actually mediocre and the end of last year is just a hot streak. That where I'm just like, all right, chill.
I mean, yeah, I don't even think
Yeah.
Trevor. I think Trevor. I want to say he got like a B tier game, maybe like a B minus. I mean, it literally. If the I don't the red zone throws were just even if one of them was like a foot shorter and Trevor gets even one touchdown, even if we would have lost like a 15-17 game, that would have been a little bit better. But I'm not really too concerned about Trevor. It's just
The
A
circumstance that we found ourselves in losing yesterday's game more than anything.
it's just a little bit worrisome because some of the problems from last year have came over from this year in just terms of the short yardage stuff. The interior offensive line kind of being an issue and just the red zone execution. So, I mean, we'll see. I mean, Doug Peterson's won a Super Bowl. Like he's been an offense. He's learned under the best offensive coach ever. And to be fair, like the Chiefs only scored 17 points. It wasn't even like it was a blowout. So it would be so funny because if imagine if it was 2017 Chiefs or
Mhm.
2017 Jags, literally all the media heads would be like, "Is the Chiefs offense broken?" Or like, "How do they only score this much points?" But they didn't. They got the win. So sometimes the defense carries, sometimes the offense carries, and you know, I think the offense will be fine for the most part. I mean, the Texans we'll see next week. They have some pieces on defense. I mean, Will Anderson looked pretty good, but at the same time, he's not Chris Jones. We'll see how they do next week, but just it's one of those games where, as an offense, you just look at yourself and like, there's so many points just left on the board. How do we not score at least 17 points? That's all you needed just to match them. But
Yeah, I'm gonna read the rest of these comments. Couch says the Jags are not who we thought they were. They said, I don't know, it's week two. The past few Jaguar seasons already taught us that you can't win with field goals. Well, obviously, it's football. We're
un-
the only team not
unless
to
uh,
not to
unless
score a
it's the
touchdown
Colts and
yesterday.
it's 6-0. So
Shout out to you, shout out to you, Mike. My brother, he tweeted first and goal at the one. That's it. Well, like you mentioned earlier, that might have been Trevor's call instead of the coaching staff. So, well, you never know. Dollop Trollop says 16 can't have games like that if he is generational, quote unquote, John in the generational part. Another one starting to think Trevor Lawrence is not a generational prospect he was made out to be. Noah, he just really repeated our sentiment. We will be fine, but the offense needs to figure their shit out. And last of our boy AB, get Professor Sailor the fuck out of here. So yeah, pretty much all we talked
I,
about, but the
I
sentiment
mean,
remains the same.
it's week two. I think the crazy thing, it sounds like the sky is fucking falling, and we're still the
In
lead in the
September,
division.
we just got to halfway through September, guys.
It
Relax a little
only
bit.
took one
One loss.
loss for the fan base to start. I mean, at the same time, when all you've used to seeing is pain and suffering, I don't blame them, like a
Yeah,
little bit.
one little taste of like what pain and suffering is. We're like, yes, I can complain
Now,
again.
now, now. I mean, it
It was
just
pretty bad
if it's
yesterday.
1-2 next week, then
Oh
it's
yeah.
gonna be full on shit about to hit the fan, but hopefully not. But
But yeah, I don't want to think about Texas until it's. I think I'm gonna bring a Texas fan on next week. We'll see if that works out. So that kind of will get us a better perspective to see where we're walking to this time around. But yeah, let's get to the positives finally, right? Defense.
is
Holy shit.
is this actually a positive for us, or is this a negative? Oh
Uh,
my!
we're counting, right? We're counting, right? Oh, look at that. We got four left. Chaisson got a
No,
sack. How is he the only one who got a sack yesterday after Trayvon was dogging the offensive line every time they were running the football? Shout out to you, Trayvon. Shout out to the linebackers for not looking at least brain dead most of the game that we've seen like a lot last season. Cisco, what a dog he is too. A
no,
pick.
his DMs
I mean, he keep playing
just
like
like
that. He could
picked off my football, but she also picked off my heart. Holla at me,
exactly.
Cisco.
Exactly.
If any
Shout out
if
to
any girl
Cisco.
acts if anybody uses that for Cisco's DMs, give the Jagged credit, by the way.
Yeah,
But
absolutely. Well, yeah, defense, like 17 points. What's there to say? Played a phenomenal game against Mahomes.
this is so like the I think the fact that pissed most people off,
Hmm.
if we lost to the Chiefs 35-31, everybody would have been fine. People would have been like, okay, the Chiefs are a great offense. We lost to a great offense. Defense will tighten up. We lose a one, but even if it was like the same score, like because we lost by a one possession
So yeah,
game.
38-30, like you said. It was just
If we
like,
would
yeah,
if we would have lost 38-30, the whole fan base would have been fine. Like, okay, Trevor played well, the offense was humming, defense needs to play better. But then the offense, which people think is going to be better, plays
mhm.
bad, and the defense, which people think is going to be kind of mid, plays well, and
It's
then
like, oh
everyone's
God.
panicking.
That's why it's like that's the thing though. I was just trying to tell everyone after the game or people dogging on me for being a Jags fan, being confident going to this week. It's like, oh, what happened? You should have worried about the Jaguars. Like, there's 16 weeks left into the season, 15 more games to play. There's time to make adjustments. Yes, we're gonna be mad at Press Taylor right now. Yes, we can say Trevor didn't play his best game, but there's still 15 more games to go. Let's let it breathe. I don't, is that my too optimistic or just say, hey, we got 15 more games to go? And yes, we did lose again to the team that seems to have our number more than anyone over the past year. 2 games last year. We lost yesterday. But guess what? If we do well during those 15 games, 16 weeks, we're going to get another game between those. We're going to get another game against them probably in January if we get that far.
Gotta
So,
keep grinding, keep
yeah,
chopping wood.
yeah, keep trust the process. As much as I hate that phrase being killed to the to death, yeah, trust the process at the end of the day. As much as it's frustrating the way we lost yesterday, offensive line, wide receivers, whatever. Defense, though, the fact that they're this far along doing this against one of the best quarterbacks in the best quarterback in the NFL, then that's very
I mean,
encouraging rest of the way.
Mahomes, it was funny. I'm just like thinking, I can't, wait for this game to just watch a shootout. Like, even if we lose, it's going to be an entertaining game.
It
And
was the
then
worst possible game
Spags and
ever
Mike Caldwell were just like,
in
nope.
their bags. Yeah.
So, I mean, credit to Mike Caldwell. Big ups to him. Defense did played up. If you would have told, like you said, we would have said that we had 3 turnovers, held the Chiefs to 17 points. Everyone would have been like, "Oh yeah, this is amazing!" Like, just imagine that performance, and the Jags have 20 points. Everybody would have been like, "We're going to the Super Bowl because the defense is amazing."
Yeah,
So,
but the 2018 Jaguars offense showed up though. It was like, oh mother. It was like, it's like, yeah, basically it was that though. We can't have any more of that on offense the rest of the way. But like I
I
said,
mean,
just try not to that at the end of the day, do not overcomplicate shit. That's just what I felt like they were trying to do a bit too much yesterday.
I don't know if they're trying to overcomplicate because they just didn't trust the O line sometimes or what. But I mean, like we said, at least the defense, came out to play. Jawan getting those flags, like bro, I
He
knew
got
it was going to
benched
happen.
and he got benched because
Did
of
he
it,
get
which is
benched?
he got benched. Yeah. He
I
didn't
don't.
finish the game.
Was that just maybe it was just really hot? He was used to the heat. I don't know, but
He's played here for 4 years. It's not
he
because of the heat.
he had 5 penalties. Okay, since then he was briefly benched. I just looked it up,
Okay.
but 5 penalties is actually. Yeah, that was
Hey,
the funniest thing.
like,
But
what can he do?
I guess we just need more sacks from Sack Guru.
Yeah.
It's just it doesn't make there. It's funny because literally even the sack he got, like he rounded the corner and I was like he didn't fall right to the ground. And I
Hmm.
mean Mahomes did hold the ball on for longer than he usually does, so that's more of a coverage sack to me. But the fact that he was able to get a coverage sack is crazy, which is
Yeah.
just hilarious because
Just
you
like,
there was
yeah.
this clip Brandon Thorne literally posted.
Mhm. Oh God, don't revive me. I just
It's
remember
funny, and someone literally just replied as I saw this coverage sack, LOL at 5'10". Shout out to John, another John
John
Guerrero.
Shipley and John Shipley too.
It's
Oh
another.
God.
We have a lot of Johns, but he literally tweeted coverage sack because Chaisson had like 2 plays where he just got bodied. But is anybody surprised?
No.
Even in a game where he has a sack, he still somehow is getting cooked, Brett Jackson. And the funny part is, even if he had those 2 plays, if we win the game, everybody's talking about Chaisson getting a sack in a positive light. But because we lost, nobody cares about his sack. Everybody just cares about his downfall.
Which I
So
do. We all do. I mean,
I,
I can't say
I'll give
that. I
him.
can't say.
I will give him a little bit of a pass,
Yeah. Shout out
even
to you,
though
Chaisson. You're 4 away from us wearing your jersey rest of the way. And this defense looks pretty good. So now that's a real possibility. He just got to not fall over and get knocked to the ground on his. Do you see also the clip of him getting knocked to his ass over and over again by the? God, man, he's. Can he do it 4 more times this year? Time will
just if
tell.
you
But
want to laugh, just go to Brandon Thorne NFL and just look up the Chase on quote, man. Look at the quotes, man.
I'll
But
retweet it from our account. Screw it. That's just too good of a. I already did. quote tweeted earlier. Go to
I
our Twitter
mean,
page and look for the quote tweet. I put out if
if
we speak dot 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 dot.
if you want to see what we're talking about,
Go to our
but
Twitter page. It's the last quote tweet before we upload this video. Oh my lord, it is.
at least the defense played well. Cisco was able to force a pick. I mean, we only allowed 17 points to an Andy Reid led offense, so you just gotta build off the wins, build off the losses. I'm sure Mike Caldwell, when Mike Caldwell was going in the office today, he's looking at the film room and he's looking at the coaching staff and he's just like, y'all better tighten some shit up because I did my job.
I know he got his paycheck. I don't know if anybody else did yesterday. Him and the defense got their paychecks. And it's crazy though because back on Agnew, I was just thinking about it. The last game we played against the Chiefs in Kansas City in January, every time Agnew got the ball, he was killing him. But guess what they did? Touchback, touchback, touchback. Every time they saw him on the field, watch for the weird move around BS, and then he was just rendered useless today. Like you said before, it's just like once you see if he's on the field, teams are gonna start to look for more of that outside east-west bullshit. It just seemed too
You know,
obvious. Yeah.
if Agnew's on the field, he's gonna motion across the field and like some. And I feel like I might get my problem with the Agnew touches. I understand like you want to get the ball in your hands of it, like your best player. I just think because it's all like the line of scrimmage, like teams are going to prepare so much. Because even
Hmm.
with the Dolphins, they get Tyreek into motion a bunch, so they can use Tyreek and get him from motion and getting him to run a route. But with Agnew, I understand. He. I don't think
He's
Agnew has a terrible route tree because I mean
yeah.
he's been playing receiver for at least 3 years now. We've seen him, been able to make some plays. Is he elite when it comes to downfield tracking? No, but at the same time, you can do more than just, have the ball behind the line of scrimmage and do a jet sweep or something like that. If you can just get him running in motion and then, even get like a crossing route or something similar,
Hmm.
that can work. But, I'm sure Doug's gonna look at the game film, see what worked, what didn't work, and because I have faith in Doug and I have faith in Trevor after last year,
Hmm.
pull it down after the Chargers game,
Yeah.
you know, a lot would have to go wrong for me to be starting to like panic where this team, is terrible. So
It just seems so similar to like the Broncos game last year, where that's where like the Broncos or the Texans game last year in offense, where I'm just like, like what I know we lost like what after that Texans game, we lost like three more games afterwards, but like, it's like we gotta like at least it's week two. Like now, this is the time now to like look at okay, what went
it,
wrong and go rest of the way, like, you know.
considering that we were literally at one point 4-8, 3-7 last year, the fact that we're 1-1 and the fan base is starting to already be a little bit upset, it's hilarious, but at the same time, it's Jags fans, so I fully get it. But
Misery loves company, and we're just used to the misery most of the time. So we're back to ground zero. It's okay. Back to
we're still leading the
yeah.
division, so that's what
Hey,
matters most.
and
And
guess what? Another chance to go 2-0 AFC South this coming Sunday. We'll leave it at that. Chiefs game will be now dead and buried. Come on, shovels out. Let's get rid of
is
this
the
game.
shovel for the 1 yard for the play calling for the red zone? How dead it was.
We just gotta go tush push. Come on, tush push rest of the way.
Is Fortner strong enough to push Trevor? I don't know if he can do that yet.
Just have Farrell and just put Farrell and whoever
Fuck it,
back there to
bro.
push. Yeah.
Put Foley at center. Let him push.
just like okay, Foley, can you play
Foley,
center?
Foley, just do like an under center direct snap. Just keep it
Or
simple,
even if you're
and
gonna
then
run shotgun at the one, just do a regular inside zone, or just have Trevor do QB power and let him jump over the fucking offensive line or some shit.
I think just I know like before like we get off soon,
Yeah.
but I think the worst thing is that because it was like the first play call and
Mhm.
then it just lost so many yards. It was like, fuck. Because even if they tried to run from the 1 yard line and that didn't work, and they tried to run again and then do a boot action like on 2nd and 1, I would have understood that. I mean, I don't even hate the play call. I just hate the execution because like Trevor literally had a touchdown last year versus Tennessee, so he didn't work. So we'll put a shovel. I don't know what Doug's gonna cook for next game. Hopefully, it's something good because the coaching
Nick.
staff is under a little bit of pressure now. But
Yeah, no, I mean, we heard they're all pissed. Trevor and Doug were one of the first to leave when you're usually the last out, win or lose. So there's just a lot to see upon, and we have 6 days away till we have to get to the next one. So hopefully the game plan goes a lot better and that we finally kind of kill another demon because we have not beat the Houston Texans in Jacksonville since 2017. So it's another stat to sit on, but we'll leave it at that for today. Javal, thank you for coming on. I know it was tough for you. It was tough for me to even like think about rewatching the game,
I
but I
don't want to
sat
think
through it.
about football.
I say that, and then I'm still gonna watch a bit of Monday Night Football tonight before I got to go to work tomorrow.
Well, we
I'm
just need
glad I
to
got
root
this
for
day
the
off.
Browns to lose. We don't want number 4 to do well in Cleveland, so let's root that he throws
He's
five
my fantasy
interceptions.
quarterback in the anime bar league. I'm not gonna lie. I actually have to rely on the rapist, unfortunately, for one of my leagues. But other than that, thank you for watching. Like and
Just,
subscribe,
just,
comment.
just remember, everybody, it's only week 2.
Yeah, I know we want to
If it's week
execute.
3 and we're 1-2, okay, a little
I
bit,
know
but
we
even
want to
then,
execute Press Taylor. I know we want to, I don't want to get it out. I don't want to get it out, but the daggers might come out if it's
off
another
with your
offensive
head.
masterclass. I don't know. I don't know why I showed feet and reach for the dagger that's under my bed just in case.
You
Worst
gotta
case
pay me
scenario.
for the feet, yeah, next time. That's only for the only Jags.
Only Jags, absolutely. Yeah, I'm gonna try to bring on a Texans fan this later on this week for the pod to talk about how the Texans have started off the season. You've seen more than me. I saw that Stroud had like 380 passing yards, but I know it was probably garbage time, Blake Bortles type of stuff. But
Yeah, I mean the Colts got out to a big lead, and considering we handled the Colts, I
mhm,
mean, but at the same time, I don't want to overlook the Texans.
because yeah,
After what we saw
last year,
yesterday,
yeah, or
and
this
just
time last year against them, because I was there suffering the same heat similar to last year. I'm like,
just to watch us to put up 6, at least instead of putting up 9 points, we instead of putting up 6 points, we put up 9 points. So
hmm. Yeah, we
nice.
put up three last year at the same game last year. So we'll save that for later on this week. Javal, thank you again. We powered through. We powered through, buddy. Uh oh my god, I don't want to do that again. I don't want to just have an offensive performance like that ever again this season. We can
If
only hope and
anybody,
pray.
Doug Peterson, listen to us. If you make your fan base sit through 90-degree weather and pay for overpriced water bottles to see 0 touchdowns, there will be talks. But until I still trust, I still love you, Doug. You're still a guru.
I can't imagine. You can't imagine like every other drive I was walking back and forth with the souvenir cup, asking the poor lady by 124 concession there, hey, can I refill this with ice and water? Like, yeah. And the ice machine was like struggling because you can already imagine how many much people are trying to refill ice and water throughout the entire fucking game. And it's like
If you're hearing this, please get a free ice machine and colder water
oh my
refills.
God, please just have an ice machine somewhere. Thank you, Javal. Just somewhere. We just need an ice machine. Like,
It's just worse. Like, cause even where I got out the bathroom, they had water refills, but then the water was not
why do we
filled.
have to pay for refills for soda anyways? It does not make fucking sense. It's like, it's Florida. It's so fucking hot. The humidity is here. This is why we're thinking about the roof. But since it might not be totally enclosed, it just might be a giant greenhouse at the end of the day. It's just something to think about.
Days like those, I'm just like, I need to fast forward to when the stadium is built, so we don't have to suffer through it again. But
We get
you
there when
know,
we get there, and we get there to week three. Hopefully, a lot better. Javal, thank you so much. That was my final rant for the day. I can't be continue to be angry. You just gotta have more positive vibes.
hey, let's just end on a good note. We're only 4 sacks away from Zach.
I
If
hope you all have a good
I
rest.
can't wait for we show up to the tailgate in our Sackaroo jerseys. But thank you to thank if the Jagged Edge to all the fans out there. If by some God's grace, Chaisson gets 4 more sacks before the year ends, and you see us at a tailgate with our jerseys on.
matching sack group. You just
You
gotta,
know,
yeah.
you know why.
Uh, I hope we don't get to the point. Not gonna lie, I do not want this. I never wish a Jaguar player to fail more than Caleb on Chaisson after yesterday, because it's just the circumstances of how we got here, man.
I think it's the fact that not only the fact that we had a sack from Chaisson and lost feels super fake.
It just seems like
Nothing
a slap to the face more than anything.
nothing about that game is real, so I'm just going to act like it's some big nightmare. And
Hmm.
that back there is not real. So,
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
but all
All
right.
right. Have a good rest of your night, guys. Thank you for thank you for watching. Like, subscribe. Yeah, you love to see it.